Our Computex 2024 coverage is made possible by Azus, G-Skill, Fantex, Team Group, Lian Li, ASRock, Corsair, XPG, Thermaltake, KLEVV, Montech, and Seasonic.
What's going on, guys? I'm Stuart from GGF, and it is Computex Day 3, and we're here at the KLEVV booth. Now, today we're going to be talking about some memory, some new SSDs, but first off, I just want to go over some of these awesome mods that they have on display. Now, these guys are the best of the best in the world. We have AKMOD with this machine here. This is the Sentinel Cypher. This thing is fully handmade. The whole thing is done by scratch. He's made it look very, very old. That's the theme he's going with, and this actually opens up. I don't want to break this. This opens up on a lift there, and then you can go inside and you can actually see the memory and the SSD, of course, from KLEVV, and you've got the screen on top. Like, I do a few bits of modding here and there. I mainly do clean builds, but this is absolutely insane. I can't imagine how long this would take, but that looks really sweet. And then there's actually some memory on the top. This one's actually converted to a USB drive, and that plugs in. And then this on the top is just a static display plugged into one of those showpiece memory holders that can light up the RGB. And then we have this one over here, once again from AKMOD. This is just out of this world. I think some people might think this is a little bit busy, but it's just to show you for an event like this, it's a perfect concept for showing off hardware. Like, any sponsor or any brand could use this to like show off memory, show off fans, show off their water cooling, because you can see absolutely everything. You can see, as I said, everything. The PSU is actually at the back. So the PSU is pretty much the only thing you don't see from the front face, but then when you walk around, you'll see the PSU, but you can see the GPU. As I said, you can see the memory, the motherboard, and this whole white theme just looks absolutely insane. And then I won't walk over there, but there's another mod here from Mark Fabrications. It is an actual radio. It's a working radio. Everything has been hand built, and apparently it took him 2 months to do, and you can just see that wood grain, that real wood, and all that brass and audio gear in there, and it looks really, really insane. Now, being KLEVV, pretty much all we're going to be looking at are their memories and SSDs. Now, starting off with what they already have out, because it's quite confusing here. There is a lot of SSDs and memory modules here. So they're standard CRAS v RGB. These are these two modules. They've already got this out in the black and the white version. The white is their latest. If you've been following my channel, I did the Intel 14900KS launch build that had their brand new CRAS v RGB in white, and they do have a lot of this memory in some systems behind me, so I'll throw some B-roll shots so you can see how that RGB looks, because obviously all of this static hardware here, you're not going to be able to see how well and how diffused the RGB actually is. So yeah, these are already out. Things like speeds and all of that, when I get down to the description in the YouTube, I'll put all that in, because these speeds vary on all these modules, and things like prices, release dates, I will throw those down there as well. But what is new in their CRAS V is this one here. So this is the ROG-Certified, and I'm really liking this color scheme. It's got the, I would say it's in between, so it's the same as the black and the white, but of course it's the ROG-Certified, and then it also has a nice silver finish on there. So that'll go well in probably white builds and black builds, because on an angle that does look white, but it is silver, and then you've got the black at the top. So I'll be keen to do a full ROG build and use that. Now, moving over, I'll get this one out of the way here. Now, previously, if you've been following my Computex videos, we were talking about these CAM 2 modules. Now, the previous CAM 2 modules I was talking about were the ones for your standard ATX form factor motherboards, but this one is a CAM 2 module for your laptop. So that's even more interesting. Now they're moving over to the CAM 2 modules for laptops. So I just wanted to mention that. This memory over here is the KLEVV Urban V. This is quite interesting with the RGB. It's not as a large area, it's really nicely diffused, and that's what I've noticed a lot with using KLEVV before in the past. Their RGB is really on point. It's nice and vibrant, it's not overexposed, it's not like a large area of RGB with minimal LED under it. It's very, very saturated, and you get that really nice look, and when you film it, take photos, and in person, it looks even better. So they have this memory here. This is just a different design they're going with, and they're actually launching this and another set next to me on my right, which will be your left. These two kits are coming out in white only at the start. So I would say there's no other memory company out there that launches memory in white first. Normally, gosh, some companies take 6 months, sometimes even a year before they release a different color in a memory module. So it's nice that that is coming out in the white first. I know some of you guys prefer your black builds, but white is becoming more and more trendy, so that is there for you guys. Now, this one in the front here is a Gen 5 SSD. Now, we haven't seen Gen 5 yet from KLEVV. I think there's a few other companies that have been holding off on Gen 5. Now they have waited a little bit, so that makes this one their newest Gen 5, which will be the fastest. So I think it's like 14,000 for the read and 12,000 for the write. I'll put the specs in the description as well. Whereas I think the early adopters on the Gen 5 were probably using a different controller, and I think that was the 12 for the read. So you're getting the fastest Gen 5 possible. And I did speak to them that it is the heatsink combined. So if you guys wanting to incorporate this into your motherboard, any future motherboards that have a Gen 5 heatsink or a fan that's built into the motherboard for your SSD, it does come with the heatsink here, so you would have to remove that. I did speak to the guys and say, look, it's always good to have two options. I know these drives get very hot. They're kind of forcing you to use their heat sinks to make sure everything runs cool. But if your motherboard has that extra cooling on it for that Gen 5, you're probably not going to want to put this on there with that cooler. You're going to want to put your one that is on the motherboard so it completely matches. So I'll speak to them again and see if they can do two versions, one with the heatsink and then one without. So if you are wanting to match it with your motherboard, it is good to go. Now moving on to this over here, this is their Fit V. And once again, I said, it is coming out in white at the start, and this is more your low profile. It's slightly slower speeds. It's more for beginners, introducing DDR5 if you're upgrading from DDR4 and you don't want to go with this fancy bling, more expensive memory, because these ones all go up to like the 8,000. They've actually got a kit of this one behind me, the CRAS V, which is running at 10,000. Well, that's pretty insane. It's running behind me. But this one here is their Fit V, and it runs, I think they said between 5,000 to 6,000. So it's going to be cheaper. It's more low profile. It's just for your standard systems that you're not going to be doing insane like water cooling, insane RGB, and all of that. And that's it at the KLEVV booth at Computex. Not too much to cover, just those few memory modules. They had the new ones, and then they had the ones they already have out, those SSDs, and then those awesome mods from those two modders. But yeah, anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank KLEVV for letting me take a look at all this gear, and we'll see you in the next one.